You're all set.
Thank you, Roland. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Education MLL Subcommittee meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 21st, 2022, and the time is now 6:01. With me this evening, I have Board of Education member Sherry McCready-Pritchett. I also have staff members, Dr. Alexandra Estrella, Robert Pennington, Francis Hayes, Alyssa Canico, and guests I am seeing Kate Morin, and I believe that's it for now. We do not have Colin this evening. So moving forward, we do have a time crunch this evening, as most of us have another event to go to right from here. So hopefully we can get it all in quickly. And if not, we will continue the information at our next meeting.
Good morning. Good afternoon. This is Amaris Vidas. I just wanted to let you know I'm here as well.
Hi, Amaris. Thank you. Okay, so Sherry, were you able to look at the minutes and take a look at those minutes? I didn't see any changes.
Yes, no, they're fine.
Okay, so approval of minutes from November 21st, 2022. Thank you, Sherry. And with that being said, I will transfer the meeting over to Francis Hayes. Thank you, Francis.
Thank you. I'll try to be quick tonight. I know we have a second event to attend. So good evening, board members and community. In our last committee meeting, we shared some data and our schedule of different learning opportunities we offer administration, teachers, and school staff members. So today in our agenda, we want to do an overview of all the ML department professional development we have offered throughout the district. And also we want to revisit the MPS ML service requirement that Dr. Estrella has implemented this year so that we could better support our MLL students, and sharing two very important events that are happening at the Family Center. So we're going to begin with a video clip that I would like to share with you today. It's a presentation we did last week for middle school and high school. And this video clip is from a professional learning session that took place at Nathan Hill Middle School. We reintroduced the QTEL model of instruction and the importance of engaging ML students in learning. One part of the QTEL model includes a lesson design in 3 moments. We deliver this professional learning opportunity to engage teachers in QTEL strategies while we taught a lesson on racism in society. And this is just a snippet of the intro. Rolling the first video, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francis Hayes. I am the Educational Administrator for Multilingual Learners at Central Office. I have a team at the Central Office. It's 3 of us that are supposed to be delivering all these different strategies, QTEL strategies throughout the district, to principals, APs, coaches, and we have like 4 more PDs to go out of like 20. So today I have the pleasure to present to you today. I know that in the middle schools and in some of the elementary schools, we're trying to do some co-teaching and train teachers in the co-teaching techniques. But today we are going to engage you in numerous QTEL strategies and in 3 moments in a lesson. So we're going to begin with a lesson in 3 moments. It's a lesson in racism in society. And we're proposing that any lesson, you could write it up however you like, but that every lesson has these 3 elements in them. The first one is preparing the learner. Click it. And in preparing the learner, we must engage the students to activate prior knowledge. Sometimes we think because they don't have the English language yet, that they're an empty vessel. They don't come with anything. But when we talk to our MLL students, they have a vast experience that we don't even have, that they could articulate and talk about, sometimes in their own native language, but as they develop the language, they could bring that experience and connect it to any theme or any unit that you're presenting to them. So it's really important to really provide them with the opportunity to engage. We also believe for many years that there's a silent period. But the silent period for MLLs is only silent when we don't invite them to engage, when we don't invite them to have the opportunity to at least talk with another student that does know English and struggle, to have a productive struggle so that they could practice. One way we learn in another language is when we go to that country, right? And we experience traveling and we try. We have to allow them. Research has shown that students, not only MLLs, in general students in school only have a 2% participation rate, 2% to just talk. That teachers were standing there doing all the work. We're doing all the work. We're doing all the teaching. We're not providing them with the opportunity to become engaged as learners. And human nature, the way we all learn, not only MLLs, is through interaction, through discourse, through having conversations, through ideas, sharing of ideas, debating ideas. We don't have to always agree, but we could also debate and learn about other perspectives. We're not giving our students that opportunity, okay? Because we have all this knowledge that we want to impart to students, but we're just delivering while they're passive learners. We want to change that. We want to change them from being passive learners to be learners that are engaging in learning. And hopefully that's our goal today. We're going to engage you in learning activities that we want you to deliver in your lessons.
Thank you. That was our intro to our middle school and high school professional development. And as I stated in the video, this wasn't edited at all, so it was difficult to watch. We must provide the opportunity for our students to experience those 3 moments in a lesson. I talked a little bit about preparing the learner and the importance to preparing the learner prior to even giving him a text. And in preparing the learner, this is an opportunity for students to participate in productive academic work by focusing their attention and activating their prior knowledge, what they could bring into the lesson, and increasing this opportunity for them to familiarize themselves with new terms needed in context. The second moment of the lesson is allowing students the opportunity to engage in grade level text. We don't want a curriculum that's watered down, or because they have not acquired the language that we give them a grade level, a middle school grade level for students at high school. We want them to have the opportunity to engage with the text in different ways with QTEL strategies, scaffolding, and providing them an entering point to have access to that grade level text. In the second moment of the lesson, this is the opportunity for us to chunk the text, to provide students the opportunity to engage in conversations, to connect their experience and their understanding of the text by sharing those ideas and thinking critically. The third moment of the lesson is where we provide students the opportunity to extend their understanding. This moment is a lesson is when they have examined the text, numerous texts, different ways that we share the context and the information, either through a video, through different articles. But students are given the opportunity to produce new texts, engage in debate, engage in research project. And the lessons might unfold more than in a few days. It could be a unit, but we must provide them the opportunity to engage in different ways with the text so that they could better understand the text and make those connections to the themes and the units. So these are the 3 moments of a lesson that we propose for teachers to be able to engage all learners and ML learners before giving them a text and saying, here's a text, read it, and answer the questions. We have to prepare them first. We have to have them interact with different texts about the content, and then opportunities for them to share out their understanding. And when they share out their understanding, there's an opportunity for the teacher to acquire some formative assessment about how well they understand the topic or the context that was being presented. In this following slide, we presented our lesson in racism in society in a co-teaching model. In addition to a co-teaching model, many of these QTEL strategies that you see on the right-hand side of the screen were presented. Today, I'm going to share 2 within each of those moments in a lesson. So for preparing the learner, I'm going to talk a little bit about the anticipatory guide and viewing with a purpose, and the purpose of utilizing those QTEL strategies to start to prepare the learner for the context that's coming. We're also going to talk about reading with a reading matrix and the round robin, how we engage the teachers interacting with the text, and finally, what activities and strategies they could utilize for students to show how they could extend their understanding. So here is the anticipatory guide that we share with teachers on the lesson on racism. And the anticipatory guide, its intent is to activate students' background knowledge that is relevant to the content and the text that they're expected to read and understand. So in the anticipatory guide, we provide students with different statements that they respond to, yes or no, whether they agree or disagree, so that we could start to activate their knowledge about the subject, about the content. And in preparing the learner, we also view them, use the strategy of viewing with a purpose, where we not only give them an article or statements or questions, but we provide them with some visual, a video, like we showed them a video on racism, and teachers had to document evidence from the video to see whether their ideas or their evidence support or challenge their responses. So this is an opportunity to engage in partner work where, oh, I thought this about racism, but maybe I don't think that anymore, and allow them to think critically about their ideas and to use different medias to present the context for students. So this is preparing the learner prior to even having them reading the text or the article that they're going to present. In the second moment, where we want students to interact with grade level text, we utilize reading with a focus metrics. This task is meant for students to read with a specific purpose in mind. We're just not telling them, okay, read this and answer the questions, but we give them questions, we give them statements, we chunk the text, and we provide the students the opportunity to read just the introduction of the text, while we assign different portions of the text to the other members of the groups. And then in the round robin QTEL strategy, there we allow students to again engage in discourse, in reading, writing, and speaking, where in the round robin, every member of that group presents the assigned text, chunk of the text that was assigned to them. And they must listen to each other. They must share each other's idea and take notes across the board without reading the entire text, and share their understanding of the text. And this is happening in small group instruction. So far, we introduce different QTEL strategies within the first 2 moments of a lesson, where we allow the opportunity to engage all students, ML learners, students who are visual learners, have different learning style. And then finally, the third moment of a lesson is where we're checking for students' understanding, where they're extending the understanding in different ways. And 2 ways that we present it to the teachers and administration is through an infographic or gallery walk. In the infographic, students are gathering all the knowledge from their notes, from the article that they read, from the video, and they present it in an infographic to synthesize and summarize their understanding of the concept and what they learned through the strategies that the teachers have implemented. It's also a way for the teachers to have a formative substance of the students' understanding of the concept and what vocabulary terms they really did understand, and revisit some of those terms or concepts that we need to reinforce. The gallery walk is where the students all are presenting their knowledge, and students go from each presenter, they give feedback, they respond, they ask questions, they update their notes, and they share their ideas, and teachers document their understanding also through a gallery walk. This is an opportunity where students, depending on their language acquisition level, could draw an image, could respond in the native language, could take evidence from the text or from the notes. They're allowed to use the different medias that the teacher utilized to present it so that they could share their understanding.
Francis, sorry to interrupt. So you just mentioned that they can answer in their native language. What if a child can't read English? How does this work with them? And is the staff member bilingual in all of these classes?
So we don't have bilingual staff in all the classes, but we do have bilingual aides supporting MLL students in mostly the core classes. But we have ML teachers, and one of the things that we're going to revisit is the service requirement that Dr. Estrella put in place at Norwalk. And in that service requirement, one of the things that we rolled out this year is the co-teaching model, where we have 2 teachers to be able to better support those ML students. And the question you pose is an excellent question about what about the student that really hasn't acquired yet the language. And that's where they have the opportunity, when they're heterogeneously grouped, to work with other students who do have the language, but a different entry point. We allow them, depending on the level, that they are pull out during some periods for support, and that ML teacher is providing them some of the context already prior to walking into that classroom. If they're stuck, they could respond in Spanish or in their native language until we start to develop more of the vocabulary. The most important point about providing the scaffolding and the support is that we need to allow them to engage in those classes with other non-MLs, so they could, like I explained in the beginning, go into another country and start really acquiring the language, because I am allowed to practice, I'm allowed to try, I'm allowed to start to develop the language by practicing. And the support comes when they're with their ML teachers who know the unit of studies and are trying to support them by providing them with the vocabulary they need once they go into these integrated classrooms.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from anyone?
So, Roland, can you please play the second video? In the second video, you're gonna see the teachers engage. These are different clips engage in the different QTEL tasks during the PD. So what you saw there is the teachers engaging in different QTEL strategies. In the beginning, you saw them pair, Danny Brown and I doing the co-teaching model that we're going to talk a little bit about that, where we're walking around and supporting the teachers. You also saw them working on the infographics at the end. They were assigned different types of racism where they needed to share their understanding of the different types of racism and have a discussion about them as well. And we had excellent reviews for these were the response from the surveys from Nathan Hale. We have response from all the PDs that we're going to gather that data for our next meeting. But it was a learning experience for everyone, for myself as well, because the Nathan Hale community asks amazing questions, and you see us engage in different groups and being able to respond to those questions and support them with how they could better support our MLL students.
Any other questions from the panel?
I think, Ms. Saez, that we might want to stop at this point just to give time for any additional questions and for members of the board that need to attend the other event to have time to get there.
Thank you, Dr. Estrella. Any
Hey,
questions?
can you hear me?
Yes.
I do have one question. I'm curious about within the curriculum, what's put in place to strengthen the connection with the family?
Good question.
In terms of the connections with the families, part of that work is happening through the family center. The focus of this particular component, it has been mainly in building capacity for the staff around instructional practices, which has been an area of development based on our observations and the study that WestMed conducted last year. Sorry, I'm echoing. Give me 1 second. There we go. Given the study that WestMed conducted last year, our focus has been first to build the capacity of the staff to really shift the way that practices in the classroom are being embedded and improve those components. The family connection is one that at the family center, we have really focused on, particularly providing language access from the point that families come into the district. Yet what you're referring to in terms of the school-based family connection and supports, those are still components that are in development, particularly because our focus right now is building staff capacity around the instruction that's happening in the classroom first, and we will be embedding practices at a later time that focus around how they can continue to enhance the learning experience of students in connection to building strong bonds and relationships with families.
Thank you.
So Dr. Estrella, I think that due to the timing, we have a section on co-teaching that maybe we could do, and the service requirement in our next ML subcommittee, but definitely want to share at the end some very important engagement, family engagement that we have at the family center. Is that okay with you, Diane?
That is fine with me. Anything that's current right now that you would love to share, that would be greatly appreciated.
So we had a special event last Saturday, December 17th, to stack our pantry. Diana Carpio and Norwood Mutual have been instrumental in the development of our family center pantry. We reached out to the community and we were amazed by the turnout of the families and community members that stopped by to donate food and fill our pantry. It was an amazing event. Rob was there, our staff was there, and it just speaks values about the Norwood community and how it comes together to support each other, and especially those in needs. Norwood Mutual Aid. And tomorrow we have a family center toy drive. At the family center, we reach out to our Norwood Public School employees to sponsor a student from the elementary school level throughout the district. We have an amazing event tomorrow where students from all the elementary school, about 6 to 7 students, we have 88 total Norwood Public School students being honored with a gift tomorrow at the family center. We have a read aloud with Dr. Estrella. We have Miss Claus and Santa Claus here for a photo shoot. And we have some nice different stations, paint facing station and Snowy's the snowman is the read aloud, and Snowy melts. But at the end of the story, he doesn't melt because he ends up having an ice cream that the students provide for them to save him. And we're gonna end our event with ice cream truck outside from the family center, member from the community as well, providing students with an ice cream as they walk out with their gifts. So we're very excited about this event tomorrow that took a lot of time and effort to coordinate, and it took a whole team, a whole village.
I would like to give a shout out to Anthony from Mr. Frosty's, who will be there for the ice cream.
And who provided the ice cream at a reduced cost to the district.
And I wanted to share the program for the day. We're very excited. We have 3 different sessions. We have 4 or 5 schools assigned to each of the sessions so that we could provide the event for all total 88 students. The sponsors have been very cooperative, amazing. They drop off the gifts, they wrap them, and the place looks beautiful for our scholars. And that's it. I think for the next, we'll talk about the co-teaching and the service and the data about how we're providing services for our scholars.
And with that, we want to wish everybody a happy holidays and a prosperous new year. We'll turn it over to Ms. Carpio.
Yes, happy holidays, everyone. And I wanted to thank Frances and her team. I know they've been working really hard at the Family Center. And the one thing that Frances didn't say, there was definitely, we had our first family register, and they received food on Saturday. It's a family of 10. And that was amazing how happy the children were. And it warmed my heart, but it also made me cry when her youngest asked her mom if she could have some mac and cheese, you know, and we take a lot for granted, and something as simple as that made her day. It made me cry, but that's what we're here to do, is to feed these children, and because they can't learn if, you know, they're hungry. But I'm thankful for the space that you guys provided, and I hope that we continue this partnership for all the children in Norwalk.
I want to thank you for all the support you provided us to make this happen, Diana.
Thank you. And with that being said, and if there's no other questions.
I would just like to say thank you for that very informed and enlightening presentation. I wish that more people in the community could see the work that you do around MLLs. There's a lot of misunderstanding and lack of understanding about it, and so that presentation was very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. It's our passion, and I thank you for that, because we put our heart and soul to it to make sure that everyone, not only the MLLs, really get the support that they need and a quality education that they all deserve.
And I think the one piece I would add is just that, and I think, Frances, you touched on it for a second, but it was very systematic and really in this vision to create alignment and coherence across the district. We provided training to principals, assistant principals, then we provided training to coaches and our improvement teachers. And then we went into our buildings and provided the same training to our staff in the building. So everybody's getting the same training, which is going to really help with a successful implementation.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
And
for
with
that, Rob.
with that being said, and we'll see everybody in a little bit, motion to adjourn, Sherry.
So moved.
Thank you. Meeting ending 6:35. Thank you, everyone.